Hello, welcome everybody to the show. We are going live today on a topic that's really near and dear to my heart. It's called Fuck Your Feelings or Fuck Your Feels. And it's not what you think it is. But yeah, this is for the people that are overly relying on their emotions, over-feeling and over-healing, and that's actually keeping you stuck. So I'm going to give everyone a couple minutes to join. Hey guys, welcome. Hello. And I'm going to go ahead and just dive in. So I'd love to talk about today is really this concept that we don't have to fix every feeling and we don't have to, investigate the trauma response under everything we feel, and how to start training your body and your brain to move forward even when you've got really big emotions in your body. So the first thing I want to mention is that most people treat their emotions with way too much meaning. Okay, like if we feel sadness, it's like, oh man, there must be some trauma behind this, or I'm taking something really, really personal, or I have to look at this and over-identify with it, and you just don't have to. I want you to think of feelings like sensations in your body. That's all they are. They're just physical sensations in your body. So think of it as like when you're going on a run or when you're doing a workout, you start running and maybe you start to feel a little bit of pain. If you listened to that pain and stopped every time that you felt pain, you'd never get a workout in. But we know that when we work out, we're jogging, maybe we're running, and we start to feel that like, oh God, maybe I need to slow down, maybe I need to stop. And then what do? We just keep going. We push past it. And it's just a physical sensation in your body that's like, oh, maybe I should slow down. But then what? Your power, your mind is stronger than that, overcomes that, and gets you to push through. It's the exact same thing with our emotions, with any feelings in your body. You can feel something. It's a physical sensation in your body. It doesn't have to mean anything. It doesn't have to consume your every thought. And go, you know what? I feel sadness. I feel hatred. I feel anger. And that doesn't mean I have to be angry. It doesn't mean I have to be sad. And it doesn't mean I have to be hateful, all of me. It just means that, oh, I feel this in my body. It is a physical sensation, literally no different than a scrape on your knee. Okay, that kind of hurts. That kind of stings a little bit. It's there. And then I could just move forward. And the more that you train your brain to do that, to fuck your feelings and to move forward, the easier it gets. It's like anything else in life, it's a muscle. And when you use it, it gets stronger. So I hope that's helpful. And let me know in the comments if that makes sense or if you have any questions about that. I'd love to explain that further and clarify. But yeah, let me know, if there's something that you're literally feeling right now that maybe has become your state of being, and see if you can just experience that emotions. And don't even call it an emotion. Try this. Call it just a physical sensation in your body. Like maybe it's a sting, maybe it's hot, maybe it's feels like a bubble, like a gas bubble. Instead of referring it as sadness or grief, which by the way, I think that's like not really useful to name our emotions, by the way. I think it's more useful to just call it a physical sensation. Like, oh, my knee is stinging. My knee kind of, aches. So that way we start to detach meaning from everything that we feel in our bodies. So see if you can, take a pause right now. Identify something in your body, a feeling in your body, and just give it physical descriptive words. It's tight, it's burning, it's aching. And see if you can separate yourself from it being like this all-consuming emotion of sadness, fear, anger, angst, whatever it is. And instead name it as just a physical sensation in your body. And let me know. Let me know how that works for you. I just find this so powerful. Some people refer to this also as like somatic experiencing, where you're learning to experience the physical sensations as opposed to giving it names and trying to digest it and trying to make it, I don't know, just like, oh, this is because, a bully said something to me in the 5th grade, which can be useful. I'm not denying that. But I think, what today's show and live is about not doing that anymore. If you've been overhealing, overanalyzing, doing too much, cognitive behavioral therapy, then this conversation is for you. So the next thing I want to talk about is that this concept of that how you feel is not what you feel. Okay, so how you feel is your overall state of being. How you feel is a decision that you get to make. That is your power, your truth, your spiritual power. You get to decide in every moment how you feel. And I think, that's something that's not taught often. And a lot of people don't really realize that. They think that everything they feel inside suddenly has to become their entire state of being. So for example, I can feel sadness in my body, and most people would say, okay, now I have to be sad. No, I can feel sadness in my body and I can still be happy, right? It doesn't have to be one or the other. How you feel is not the same as what you feel. How you feel is your choice. That's your overall state of being. How I feel, I can choose. How I feel right now, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be on this live. I'm grateful to get to do all these awesome conversations and get to teach and get to just do what I love and share my passions and my work. How I feel is elated. How I feel is happy. How I feel is awesome. How I feel is exuberant. Those are all literally things that I'm just creating right now in the moment, and therefore it's becoming my state of being. What I feel a little bit of a twinge of just of smallness. But that doesn't mean that's not going to define how I feel. How I feel is grateful, happy, exuberant, awesome, ecstatic, lively. What I feel, little twinges of just random shit that doesn't need my attention. I can just be here, focused, present with you all, grateful to get to do this. And it's just the feelings are there, kind of like a stomach ache. It's just a stomach ache. What's it going to do? What am I going to do? Lay in bed all day? No, we're not doing that. Another example I want to give is I've been doing a lot of cold plunging lately. I think it's super therapeutic. It's incredible for the body, has so many anti-inflammatory benefits and, weight loss benefits. I can go into all of the benefits, but it also has incredible benefits for emotional intelligence and emotional mastery. So I have a coach that I'm working with, Matthew Coder. He's amazing. And, he was like, next time you get in the ice bath, I don't want to see you breathing hard and in a panic state. You get to choose to be calm. And I was like, what? I can do that even with my physical emotions? Absolutely, 100%. So what did I do? I plunged in this 46-degree Fahrenheit water, which by the way is very cold. Okay, it is absolutely 100% a shock to the body. I plunged and my initial, my body starts freaking out. And my initial reaction is to tense everything. And I just want to start breathing hard and waving my arms around to try to get warm. And I felt all of that feeling come up in me. And then I just went, nope, I am calm. I am going to be calm. And then boosh, I just felt this massive wave of peace and calmness go over my entire body. And then that became my state of being. How I felt was calm. How I felt was peaceful. And inside, what I was feeling was, sure, freak out, panic. My body's like, get out of this. It's so cold. But how I felt was calm and centered. And man, that is such a game changer because you can take that into any area of your life, literally any area. Whenever, other people are freaking out or whenever there's chaos, you can just go, nope, I'm going to be calm, centered, cool, calm, cool, and collected. Because how you feel is not the same as what you feel. You can choose how you feel no matter what's inside. Hey guys, welcome. We're going over overfeeling and how to fuck your feelings. tell them to fuck off. And this is for the people that have done a lot of healing work or maybe spend too much time in their emotions. All right, I'm not saying repress your emotions. I'm not saying deny them. There's space for that in healing. There's room for that. That's amazing and beautiful, and therapy is great. This conversation is for the people that are feeling too much and are paying too much attention to their emotions. So not everybody, is going to be in that category. A lot of people, I think, maybe don't, repress their emotions. But this is for the ones who are overfeeling and need to learn to overpower their emotions, basically. So if anyone has any questions about this, please drop them in the comments. I'd love to, gauge how this is landing for you. Let me know if there's something that's not clear, or if you have a specific question or something that you're working through. I am super happy to either answer your question, or if you feel called to, I can have you on this live and I can help you go through it together. Welcome. Hey guys. So I also want to mention that, we really want to be in control of our emotions, meaning we don't want to react, right? So there's a difference between reactions and a response. So reactions is when we let our emotions dictate how we react literally to a situation. And a response is the opposite of that, is when now we get to be the conscious choosers using our spiritual power to then respond to a situation, not from the emotion, but from our higher selves and from our innate intelligence. So true power is really being able to feel these emotions and then taking the aligned action anyway. So if you're having an emotional response in your body, maybe you got triggered, maybe someone said something that you didn't like, and the reaction might be to snap at them and, say something rude. True power is being able to feel that emotion within you, right? And then choose how you feel, which is calm, centered, whatever the situation calls for, and respond accordingly. And that doesn't mean that you have to heal the feeling underneath, right? A lot of people are spending too much time healing, and it's taking away from them actually taking action in their lives, right? And this can happen. You can get into this cycle of overhealing where you're spending hours and hours and hours working on yourself and doing the trauma work and going into your childhood and dissecting every last memory. And there's obviously a place for that, and that's wonderful. And sometimes it can become avoidance, a way to justify not actually doing the hard things and going after your goals. So a lot of times, you can't heal through the pain. And think about it. It's if everything was easy in life, then nothing would be worth having. You would never grow. Growing happens through suffering. Growing happens through pain. Sometimes there's just no way around it. And so you have to be really careful not to get trapped in this cycle of overhealing, that thinking that, once I heal enough, it'll just be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. Not everything is meant to be easy and effortless and just, simple. That would not be any fun when you really think about it. We as humans like challenges. We as humans like a fight. We like something to go up against. And so careful not to get into this trap of needing everything to be 100% healed in order to move forward. The other way to think about it is when you go if you're at the gym and you're lifting weights, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be painful. And, you're not lifting pencils when you're there. You're meant to be in pain. And that's how literally the stimulus for the muscle growth happens. That's how the muscle growth happens. And it's the same for you. And so, the things that you want in life are supposed to be hard to get after. That's why you want them, because you really want to become the version of yourself that achieves that goal, probably more so than the goal itself. So you want to become that highest version of you. And in order to do that, you set this big lofty goal for yourself. And in the pursuit of that goal, you become the person that you want to be. And it's meant to be difficult. It's meant to be hard. And courage is fear with legs. Okay, it's not the absence of fear. It's actually having fear and running towards it anyway. Because we're all afraid. Right? It's scary. It's scary out there. There's things to be afraid of. And most of the time they're irrational. Right? But that doesn't mean that they're not scary. And it doesn't mean that they're not hard. It doesn't mean it's not difficult. It doesn't mean it's not vulnerable. But do it anyway. Do it anyway. Fuck your feelings is about doing it anyway. Feeling the feeling, not paying attention to it, not overanalyzing it, not overthinking it, not dissecting it, not going into your childhood traumas of where this came from, but just doing it anyway. Pushing through the pain, pushing through the hard stuff like you're doing a rep. And that's why I think, going back to what I said in the very beginning of this, is that feelings don't have to have any meaning. We don't have to name them all the time. Naming your feelings can be really useful. I don't want to deny that. And sometimes just don't even give them a name. They're physical sensations in the body. When you're lifting weights, you're not like, you're not naming the pain that you feel. It's just inherent to the workout. Oh, this is the burn when I push through in order to make myself stronger. And so when you feel something scary and you're trying to go after and achieve your goals, let it be the burn. You don't have to name it anger, sadness, grief, imposter syndrome, whatever. Just, this is the burn. This is the hard part. And I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to push through because that makes me stronger and it makes me better. All right. We got a request to be in my live. Yeah, I'd love to have you if there's something you're working through. All right, let's see. Okay, view request, go live. All right, you ready? Glamorous hiker. I'm gonna give you a wave. Let's see. If you're still here, okay, no worries. If anyone wants to join and hop on and there's something I can help you work through, I'd be super happy to do that. It'd be an honor. So whoever wants to, either drop a comment and share something that's on your mind, or we can hop on a live, you can hop on with me right now and we can talk through it. Super happy to do that. It's like literally one of my favorite things to do. That's why I do what I do. No takers. Do y'all have any questions? Anything I can answer? No questions. That's all right. Y'all are being shy. Or you've got the message. You figured it out. Just fuck your feelings. There's nothing to talk about. Just do it anyway. Just go after it anyway. Even if it's hard, scary, difficult, makes you feel inferior, less than, not enough, unworthy. Just do it anyway. Do it anyway. And the more that you do that, the easier it'll be to fuck your feelings, just like anything. It might be really tough at first. It might be really hard. I'm not going to deny that. It might be hard to not listen to your emotions because you're so used to doing that. And it's hard until it's not. Like anything, it's hard until it's not. So practice and you'll get good at it, I promise. And sometimes, it does take like, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to listen to my emotions. And it, hype yourself up, put on some music, jump up and down, call a friend and have them support you. You can use those tools at your disposal as well to help you ignore what you're feeling and to move forward anyway. So the message, again, I'm just going to keep repeating this because I think people need to hear it, is stop letting momentary sensations run your life. They're just sensations. They're just sensations, and they don't all need to be dissected or paid attention to and used as an excuse to not go after the things that you want or to procrastinate. And it's okay. Like I'm not trying to make anybody wrong here. I'm not making anybody wrong here. We all do that. This is just bringing gentle awareness into how sometimes we can use the excuse of needing to heal something as avoidance for what we really want. And I've done this a lot. And that is why I am talking about it. Because, yeah, sometimes, action is the best thing that you can do. What's that saying? Depression can't hit a moving target. I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I'll tell you guys a quick story too. So last weekend, I was feeling a lot of emotional, I don't know, just weight. And I had scheduled with a friend and her daughter to go to this place called Activate. I don't know if y'all have heard of that. There's one in Austin. I think there's several around the country and, maybe similar places like that around the world. But it's like one of those indoor activity places. It's kind of like you're playing video games, but it's interactive. You're in a group and it's physical. So you're in this room and it all lights up. And yeah, afterwards, playing there for an hour, I felt amazing. Why? Because one, I'm using my task positive network, okay, my TPN. That's a whole nother conversation, but I'm focusing on something because we're trying to win these games, right? So I can't be thinking about anything else. And then the big thing I want to, get across is like I'm moving, right? We're like moving around, running from wall to wall, jumping up and down. So depression can't hit a moving target. I have I just moving and cleansing my body through that movement. And then, there's lights and flashing lights and stimulation. And then the biggest part was just having a group there together. So, all of that is also really useful for getting out of our emotions. Community support. Why? Oxytocin. It literally creates, good feels in our body. And oxytocin is produced when we're in community and with long hugs, 20 seconds or longer. With just doing it anyway, right? Like focusing on a task. Why? Because that activates our task positive network. And that's the part of the brain that, gives us good feelings. You start getting dopamine rushes. You start getting a little norepinephrine, doing something new, doing something challenging. That's the other piece. I'm doing something challenging. What does that do? That creates norepinephrine, which makes me feel good as well. So you're getting just like all the neurochemicals from neurotransmitter stacked from, doing things like being around your friends, focusing on tasks, challenging yourself, doing it anyway, pushing through. And then what else? And then movement. We know movement is so healthy for the brain and the body. It helps us purge emotions. It releases all these endorphins. And so, I say fuck your feels, but I'm also saying like, there's also ways to make that easier because sometimes, our emotions can be really, really, really intense. And it's tough to just on our own say, I'm not going to listen to this. Sometimes and oftentimes we can use things like movement, support systems, distractions also, and sunlight, like all the things that make you feel good and that are healthy. All of that's going to help you not pay attention to your feelings and move forward anyway. Hey guys, welcome. Let me know if y'all have any questions, how this is landing for you. I'd love to know. Or if you're watching this back, also please comment if there's something that wasn't clear, if there's something that really resonated, or if there's something that I can support you with, please, drop in the comments. And I'd love to either make a video for you or answer in the comments right there or reply to a comment. Yeah, so that's what happens to me when I ride my motorcycle. Totally. Yeah, Mike, thanks for sharing that. So good to learn about the brain. It's really powerful. inside and having awareness into how our, how our emotions work, how our bodies work. And I don't know if you guys know this even about me. So I'm a doctor. I'm a holistic and integrative doctor. I'm a medical doctor. I went to medical school, residency, the whole thing. But the reason I do this work is because I found that so many of chronic illnesses really are based in an unhealthy mind, and especially trauma and emotions trapped into the body. And that's just what I've found to be, for my patients and even in my own journey, one of the most, if not the most powerful, um, basically like determinant of whether someone is healthy on a holistic level. So that's what I do with this work. Talk about emotions a lot, talk about healing, um, as I've just found that that's what moves the needle, especially when it comes to chronic illnesses. Let's see. So, since you talk a lot about boundaries, what's your take on navigating someone who repeatedly tests them? I'm curious about your philosophy around that. Um, yeah, I talk a lot of my take on someone who repeatedly tests boundaries. Well, I've got one of those at home. Um, I think it kind of depends on the context. Like I can speak a lot to boundaries being tested by children. Often, boundary testing in that context is they actually want to feel safe and like you're in charge. So that's from the parenting perspective. And then when it comes to like interpersonal relationships and people are testing boundaries, um, yeah, how do I feel about that? I think, everybody's looking for the path of least resistance, and they're looking to expend the least amount of energy. So if they're testing boundaries, it's because most likely they need something and they're trying to get their needs met, and the boundaries that are there aren't allowing those needs to be met. Does that mean that you have to be the person that meets those needs? Maybe, maybe not. Depends obviously on the situation and the context of the relationship. Um, and so, yeah, I think, a lot of time, like, I think communication is so powerful, and just sitting down and having conversation about needs. And there's an amazing book about this called Nonviolent Communication. I think it's like Dr. Marshall Rosen something. And it's incredible because it really starts to bring the conversation into what does each person need and want. And then now it's not personal. Now it's not like he did this, they did this, she did that. Now it's just like, hey, these are my needs and these are your needs. And then can we find a way, not not for me to meet your needs or not for you to meet my needs, but just for my needs to get met and your needs to get met, and problem solve in that context. Um, so yeah, I think conversations are really powerful, especially using tools of nonviolent communication, looking at needs. And then, and if someone is not like blatantly disrespecting a boundary, I think, yeah, that's probably also warrants a conversation. But there's like different levels of how that can escalate, right? Like it's like, hey, this boundary is not being respected, so I'm going to now step away, or I'm going to take a step back, and just have that be clearly communicated. I think so oftentimes, like nowadays, or how we were trained is just like to disconnect. And I'm not saying that that's not the answer. Sometimes that is the answer, is to disconnect, especially when someone's violated boundaries multiple times, and then you just have to disconnect. However, probably most of the time, um, we can actually come closer together through conversation, through discussing boundaries, and just like, yeah, having an actual emotional, intelligent conversation, um, to where everybody can express themselves, say how they feel, be seen in their emotions and in their viewpoints, be listened to, be heard, and then have a conversation about, hey, how can we all feel good and all get our needs met? Cool. Any other questions? Am I a fan of country music? Um, Sometimes, not really. Do I mind expanding on the nonviolent communication aspect? Sure. I've been meaning to listen to this book again, but yeah, nonviolent communication is taking away any kind of blaming or shaming language, um, taking away this idea that people are against us or somehow trying to, that they're somehow against us. Um, I think that's so rarely the case, if ever the case. I think most of the time people are for themselves. They're not against you, they're for themselves. And so when you look at it in that way, it takes away the victim mentality, it takes away blaming, it takes away shaming. It's just like, oh, this person's trying to have their needs met. It's not about me. They're just trying to have their needs met with the best tools and resources they know how. So that's a big part of nonviolent communication. And then the other part is being able to name what it is they want, taking yourself out of the equation, right? So we could be having a dialogue and it's, hey, so you need this, and this. I hear that you need, X, Y, and Z in order for you to feel good. Great. Can I talk about now what I need? Okay, great. Here's what I need, X, Y, Z, da, da, da. Um, so yeah, it's also like powerful to have reflective listening. So being able to hear what someone's saying and then reflect it back to them. But using, yeah, being really careful to not use blaming language like you did this and you did that, but instead, this works well for me. I need this. I like that. This is my preference. This is what works well for me. Um, but yeah, I would definitely check out Nonviolent Communication. I feel like that's a book every person should read, like in the whole world. I think we'd have a completely different world if we all read that. Um, it's an amazing resource. It's like a very peaceful, if you listen to it on audiobook, it's super peaceful. The author reads it himself and it's yeah, it's a really nice listen. And there's like classes you can take on it. I've literally listened to that book probably like 4 or 5 times, and I'm going to listen to it again because I need those constant reminders, right? Like we're trained in this blaming society of like, well, he did this and they did this and they're against me, and what does that lead to? Conflict, war, violence, like people being victims, nobody feeling good. Um, and instead, it can be just everybody's for themselves. Everybody's really just trying to feel good. Like literally, like that's all we're trying to do. Everyone's just trying to feel better. Everyone's just trying to feel good. Um, and learning to understand that, I think, is a massive game changer when it comes to yourself, but also relationships. So yeah. Well, if anyone else has any other questions, feel free to drop a comment. If you're watching this back too, feel free to drop a comment. I'll make a video for any questions you have. And yeah, I just want to reiterate a couple points on, what we talked about, that how you feel, you get to choose. You get to choose how you feel, right? You have what I like to call like spiritual power. You have power over your emotions. You're a very powerful being. Your mind is incredibly powerful. And it's so powerful that you can create chaos or you can create amazing things from it. And so, knowing your strength, knowing your power, um, choose wisely. Choose to feel calm, cool, and collected. Choose to feel centered even when you're in an ice bath. Choose to feel happy even when maybe someone hurt your feelings. All of this is your choice. Your state of being, how you feel, is up to you. And that doesn't mean that you're not experiencing emotions inside, because those are kind of always happening, but they're transient, right? They're flowing through us, and you don't have to pay that much attention to them. They can be there, and you can still move forward. Courage is fear with legs, right? And just move on through. Tell your feelings a little bit. Sometimes you got to be like, fuck off, Not going to do that. Um, and that's the reason I say, fuck your feelings, because sometimes it does have to be that no with your feelings. And the more you do it, the easier it'll get. So I hope this was useful to y'all. I hope you got something out of this. I'd love to know what resonated for you, what makes sense to you, maybe if you tried it, let me know in the comments. And if there's anything else that you would like me to chat about, anything specific, I'd be super happy to um, answer those questions and yeah, just be as helpful and supportive as I can. Cool. Well, welcome and thanks to everybody who is here. Thanks to everyone who's watching the replay. And, I'd love if you could like this video, maybe share it with somebody in the comments. This helps let the algorithm know to share it to more people. Yeah, I just think this is useful information. If it's useful to you, please share it. Please like, comment. That would be a huge help so that this message gets to more people. Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for joining, everybody. I'm grateful for you all here. And I go live every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Central, different topic every week. And I can do live coaching as well. So if you have something that you're working through, I can certainly help you navigate that. And it's like literally my favorite thing to do. So please don't be shy. That's what I'm here for. And I'm grateful for you all. And yeah, fuck your feels. All right. Well, thanks so much. I'll see you guys next week and hope this helps someone. Have a beautiful day. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Talk to y'all soon.